We are back in Big Ambitions. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Thank you for joining me on this lovely Tuesday morning. I don't know if it's actually Tuesday for you. It's Tuesday in the game, by the way. Yeah, just go with it. Jose Allison is saying that they want silver health insurance. We can probably make that work. And we got $640,000, and we owe twice that much to the IRS in 5 days. Our tax bill is $1.265 million. And, well, the good news is it's Tuesday. All of the imports that we wanted to have before are ready to go. Like, they're available. So I want to go over to the factory and I want to see what we got going on over there. But there's very important here. I got to pay my taxes on time. And it says that I owe this by day 140. Here's the problem. Day 140 is a Sunday. Yeah. So what I actually have to do is pay it by day 138, which is Friday. So I don't have a whole lot of time to gain $640,000. In other words, we're not going to be buying anything. We're not going to spend any money that we don't have to. We're not going to raise our costs for any marked reason. We're just going to hold. We're in like a holding pattern for about a week until the taxes are paid. And then we can start really ramping it up. And if for some reason I'm getting to Friday and it's like, guys, I'm short, I don't have the money, then I borrow it from Van Tander and pay my taxes. That's the idea. Because I can borrow up to $800,000 from Van Tander, so it's fine. Okay, so I have no issues. I have no concerns or worries about paying the taxes. The other thing I can do, if it's going to be advantageous for me, is I can just bite the bullet, do the taxes right now with the loan, and get this thing started. But we need to know exactly how this is going to work. And right now we can see the numbers. Okay, so this thing takes 60 minutes, really, to produce one cut gem. Okay, this thing, let's make sure we get these. I bet we could probably see the ratios if I got to select it. Okay, so I didn't select it before, and that was my problem. So here. So we got a 30-minute production of expensive jewelry here, a 30-minute production on the polishing, but a 60-minute production on the laser cutting machine. So in other words, I need a 2-to-1 ratio of these machines versus these two. And if I want to speed up my production, I got to have more of these machines. Remember how expensive these machines are, right? This laser cutting machine is $280,000. So I could only, even if I wanted to and I didn't care about taxes, I could still technically only buy 2 of them without taking a loan right now. It's very expensive. Now, if I buy another one, though, it's going to double my speed. And it's actually going to set this into the correct ratio for these machines, so everything can just flow. So one more laser cutting machine would be pretty cool. So I'm tempted to just pay the loan, or rather get a loan, pay the taxes, and then look at investing in, increasing my output of these expensive jewelry, because the expensive jewelry could probably make me money over the next few days. We have a back order as well on cheap jewelry. I wasn't able to import as many as I wanted, so I'm probably going to run out of jewelry anyway at my stores. Let's take a look at my stores and inventory. So my cheap jewelry, I have in stock right now 800. That's more than I thought I had, but I had them in stock, and that's great. In my warehouse, though, I bet I don't have hardly any. So if I go to my warehouse, I do. I only have 200 in my warehouse. So that's it. That's all the jewelry I have. I got the 800 in the store, which is very good, but only 200 in the warehouse. Ideally, you'd probably want to have that reversed. You probably wouldn't want to have that much jewelry in your store, but it is what it is. We have good security. It's not great. I need to improve the security of my store. And I have lots of cameras. I have security personnel. I'm not entirely sure what I can do to make the security better than it already is, because that's definitely done. I do have security personnel. Yes, I have security personnel. I think the only way I could make this better is to have better skilled security guards. I think that's the only thing that happens. So they're at 72%. They just need to, they just need to bulk up. All right. They just need better training for them. All right. That's the only thing I could think of here for the middle finger right now. But yeah, we got everything else, but there is a back order for the cheap jewelry. All right, and I can't have any expensive jewelry anyway. So that's what I want to start making, is that. So I think it's probably advantageous just to keep things moving, and it's not that big of a deal on interest if you think about it. Why am I not able to find the IRS? Right here. It's that destination. Fine. I think I'm gonna pay my taxes right now, just so I have a bearing on what I'm working with. We can get people into the factory, start them working, and start getting a supply of the expensive jewelry. We're not going to be able to sell very many, but because we're not going to be able to produce very many. I think the bottleneck on our sales for quite a while will be just essentially how many we can make. But we'll see what we can do. So the first thing I need to do is I need to call Vantander Bank, and I need to say, hey guys, I need money. All right, I got to pay my taxes. I'd like a new loan, please. Max out $800,000 loan. And if I do that, I will get enough. I probably don't need a whole 800,000, but I'm kind of hoping with the numbers that I can buy another laser cutter machine with it. So yeah, I might be able to buy another laser cutter machine. I'm actually not sure. So we're going to call Jensen Capital as well. And we're going to say, hey man, can you guys loan me $45,000? Was it 45 or 40? No, 40. Okay. Try again. $40,000. Can I have $40,000, please? Thank you. All right. I didn't even make this number move because 40,000 is relatively inconsequential for what we have. But want to see what we're going to do here. So I'm going to walk over to the IRS, pay this tax bill, and we're going to see what we have left. And we could probably buy another laser cutter tomorrow. That's what I'm hoping for. So hello, tax person. I'll pay it. And just like that, we paid our taxes. That's it. That's insane. So $215,000 is what I have left. I am down 60 grand. So tomorrow we are going to get ourselves another laser cutter. I think probably is a good idea. But in the meantime, we can hire factory staff to help with things. We can get them moving at least to make something right now, right? So to do that, we're going to come over to our employees tab here. I have had my headhunter seeking out factory workers for a while, and we have a whole bunch of them that are in here. What I'm looking for here is employees that have no preference on time of day. I kind of don't care about anything else. I want to make sure that they can work all the time. So Dawn, you're in. That's great. Peaceful work environment. That's good. No night shifts. These are the kinds of things I don't want for these guys. No weekends. I don't want that. Now, when I was searching for these guys, I told my headhunter to cool it on the insurance bit, the benefits bit. So they're going to find people that have the things I don't want anyway, but I can filter through them. There's a lot of them. So water cooler is okay because it's a very cheap thing to do. If there's a couple of people that are like, I want water cooler, it's only a nice to have, but I only have to buy one water cooler for the entire factory, and all of their needs are met with that single water cooler. So that's pretty nice. So basically anybody that's got the traits I'm looking for. Peaceful work environment is great. No afternoon shifts, water cooler. Yeah, so that's okay. Water cooler is okay. I think probably that many is good. Now, how many do we need, right? Well, you need one employee for every input station and one for every output station. So we need 3 people. We're going to have 3 workstations. But we need a lot more than 3 people because we want to have this factory running 24/7. We never want this factory to stop. It's got to run all day, all night. So we're going to need a lot more than that many people. And if they all want to be full-time, of course, we got that problem too. Now, I'm not sure how many I just clicked. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is probably too many. I think 10 is too many. Let's find somebody that doesn't have a water cooler. Where's the... Peaceful work environment is too easy too. There was one more that was a different one, I thought. A different demand. No? Okay. Well, we'll just pick the lowest one. It's going to be Kim Young at 79% or Gerald. I'm gonna keep Gerald just because I like his name. Yeah, Gerald. Yeah, go on, Gerald. I just watched Finding Nemo a little while ago. Okay. Hire and assign candidates. and assign them to the Luxman Incorporated. All right, 9 employees are in there. Basically, I'm looking at a morning shift, an afternoon shift, and an evening shift for 3 stations. So 9 employees is what I'm looking at. So I'm going to come over to my factory is not going to be in this list. It's going to be in the warehouse, right? There's Luxman here. We're going to click that, and then we're going to go to schedule. We have the 3 workstations right here. I'm just going to have everybody scheduled here and see what whatever the game decides to do with putting them on the stations. But we have an input station for uncut gems. We have an input station for metal bands, and we have an output station, which is undefined, but anything that hits it, that's what we're going to be working with. This is what we don't want. Little gaps like that are what we don't want. All right. So I need 1 more employee. So guess what? The person that I had is that's the person I'll probably look at getting. Or Richard. It doesn't really matter who I hire as long as they're, pretty good. It's fine. Richard can have it. Whoever that other person was, oh, actually, wait, there's better people here. Hang on. Richard's not even the best. Charlotte. She has 3 demands, but that's okay because it means that one of her random demands that are going to, proc in, like a lot of these guys have 2 demands. They're about to have a 3rd, right? So what's the 3rd one? Can I deal with all of them? And in this case, I can definitely deal with 2 of them, but not the evening shift one. I don't want the evening shift one. That's a customer service person anyway. What am I doing? Right down here. Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong people anyway, so whatever. Coffee machine, definitely don't want that one. Not that it's a big deal, but it's an important thing that I wasn't planning on buying. So everyone else wants a water cooler, so that's what I want. Water cooler is good. Let's just hire you. Vincent Gomez is in. Luxman, schedule, redo it. And then what we want to do from there is we need to get some factory stuff going too, because the end products need to be shipped out to wherever warehouse it is that we're storing those products. And also we need a truck to bring the stuff in too. I'm not entirely sure how this works. Again, I have never done factories and implemented them to like actually play with factories yet. So I'm kind of experiencing this with you, but I understand the general concept of things. I don't know if the driver is actually needed for this place. I suspect it will be needed if we want to take products from this warehouse and put it in a different warehouse, which is what I thought I would want to do because there's more storage other places. But since this is a fairly low volume thing, it's probably okay to be at this warehouse and just have the store bring it in from the other one. Just keep in mind that your logistics people are looking at one warehouse, right? So I'm going to need a second logistics person to handle this stuff anyway. So to make it easier, I might just want one logistics person to just move things to the other one. That's where I would do this. And then I don't even need a big car. I could actually literally just give my pickup truck to this place and that would be fine. So a cheap driver, cheap logistics officer or person, and my truck, and that's it. And they'd probably only support 2-3 locations, maybe not even, but they only need to support 1. So that would be fine. Inventory, we have this all in stock. 25,000 metal bands I brought in. It's crazy. Uncut gems cheap are in here. There's 5,000 of them. And uncut gems expensive. There's 500 of those. And so that's what we want to look at now. So the final bit then is to get this place opened. And all I have to do is that. And now there are people there right now working this area. And you know what? It is still not enough. Wow. Almost. It is almost. It's just a couple of days. Maybe we get a part-timer in here. Now this person, 12 hours. Wait a minute. Dawn. Yeah, she's working every day though. That's the thing. 36 hours, 50. See, this person's 50 hours a week. Okay, so some of these guys are still at 50. We will hire one more. That'll make things way easier. We're just going to hire one more because some of these guys are at 50 hours a week, so that's fine. Peaceful work environment. Yeah, that's fine. Barbara, get in here. And one more time on the schedule. Ready, set, go. Okay, let's go over to the factory and see how it's rocking. Now, I can't take any more loans. I've maxed out my credit. Just so I could get my warehouse running now, instead of waiting 5 days for the IRS and all that stuff. I didn't want to wait. So I went into debt. This is the wrong road. Sure is. Wrong road. I went into debt just to pay my taxes so that I could get these machines running. I need another laser cutter because it's going to be very slow. You'll see. I'll be like, wow, you spent this much money and you're only making that. I know. It's kind of pathetic. I'll just straight up, I agree. It's pretty pathetic. Let's pull this truck in. Not sure if I actually need the driver for this or not, but I'm going to pull this truck in anyway. I don't need it. I don't need the truck to actually work for me. It's fine. Just leave it. Okay. Oh, we can hear it. We can hear it. What is that sound? That is the cutter. It is cutting the gems. So it's operational. So this is the input person. Heather Miller is going to put these gems. It's set for uncut gems expensive. Okay. Factory worker, it says satisfaction 51%. That will go up over time, and we can help that go up even faster by making sure that the HR manager has them. So you there, HR manager, go ahead and make sure that you have as many people as you can afford to hold. One more. Here we go. Is that it? Wow. Just enough. I like it. We'll get gold health insurance at some point here fairly soon. The silver health insurance person needs to swap out and pop you in over to here. We'll get that fairly soon. I know you don't have to give it to them, or you can give it gold to everybody. I like to balance it. I realize it's not for everybody, but I like to give people exactly what they want and not spend any extra if I can avoid it. So this is a polishing machine. So the cutting happens there for 60 minutes. The polishing machine takes half the time, and then it gets sent over into the consumer goods assembly machine where these go in. Okay, so what I think I eventually want to scale to here, I'm going to have to reposition our metal machine too, because we're going to have to start using splitters and stuff. So I think eventually what we'll do here is we'll be changing the location of these machines. We'll click this button, close, and move things around, right? And we'll probably have... maybe we balance everything to 6 minutes? I don't know if I like that idea, but that means having 10 of these laser cutting machines. Ugh, God, that's expensive. That's $2.8 million in just laser cutting machines. But we can have... Yeah, it is. It's like this whole thing will eventually be somewhere in the ballpark of a $5 million operation. But it gets me uncut gems. It gets me expensive jewelry significantly faster, because right now I can only make one every hour. So I'm making 24 a day. That's not a lot, but I am going to sell them for... I don't know what the going rate for expensive jewelry is, but I'm going to sell them for quite a bit. In the garment district, expensive jewelry is probably not in a very high demand. The regular cheap jewelry is selling for $204. Expensive jewelry is selling for $1,600. So at the current thing I have right now, if I was to sell 24 expensive jewelry a day, which I may not, it might be fine just the way it is. But if I can make more, then I can open up more stores and sell more. And each one I make, I can sell for $1,600. If I go to someplace more expensive, like Midtown, for example, now I can sell it for $2,100 each. So that's not bad. I'm making like an extra 45 grand a day on income for that expense. It's pretty good. So it could be worth it. In a very long run, a very long-term, math, it could be worth it. But everything comes to here. There it goes. Everything comes to here, and then it ends up here at the output station, where I'm assuming he doesn't have the water cooler he wants, but I'm assuming that it ends up going to the shelves at some point there too. So there's metal bands, uncut gems, cheap. We're going to have to make cheap jewelry too. And again, we're going to try to guard ourselves against the inflation problems there. But making cheap jewelry is not nearly as worth it, right? Because we're selling it for so little. So I don't know about that, man. I don't know about the cheap jewelry thing. I may not even bother with that and just only have the entire factory dedicated to expensive jewelry. But then I run the risk, right, of having, like, I'm making too much. I'll make too many expensive jewelry and I won't be able to sell them all. So a lot of things to consider there. And this is an interesting part of the game that I think really changes the dynamic. I mean, you can become a producer of goods. Now, I've had a lot of people in the comments before ask me, can you sell what you manufacture to the other AI competition? In other words, can Zhao, for example, have me as his jewelry supplier for his stores? And I don't know the answer to that question, mostly because I haven't played this this part of the game before. But I will tell you that I've seen mixed responses on this. I've seen commentary from the devs in public that suggests that this is something that they intend to do. I don't know if they've implemented it, but I've seen it. I've seen them say something about it being something they intended to do. I don't know how you would balance that other than having it be, you know, you supply it at a market rate, because you would otherwise be able to I mean, why would Zhao buy it from you, right? Unless you're selling it for less than the importer. I mean, that's the only reason to buy from you, right? If you think about it, when I buy this from the docks, all right, let's, I don't even know where I'm supposed to go here, man. Purchasing agents. I can't buy the expensive jewelry. I can buy uncut gems for $438 a piece, but I can't buy expensive jewelry. So how do you determine what expensive jewelry is being imported for? You don't know what the importer is selling it for, or you don't know what the docks for Zhao, who has a completely different supply chain than you do. You don't know what he's buying them for. So what are you going to sell them for? You can either make the expensive, and I'm only using expensive jewelry here because it's what I have in front of me. You're only able to make expensive jewelry, and then you're going to sell them in your own stores for $2,000 a pop. Or you're going to make the expensive jewelry and sell them to Zhao at wholesale prices without being able to make wholesale volumes, because he's buying wholesale, right? Presumably, he's manufacturing them himself and shipping them to himself. So why is he buying them from you when he can manufacture them himself? You know what I mean? Like, if you think about how the AI... Now, that's for the main four. For these guys, I can kind of get it. But the main four have a backstory that insinuates... It's flat out implies that they have global supply chains already in place and are already manufacturing things that they sell in their stores. They have that advantage. So I don't see any reason why the main four would ever buy from you, because they should have that set up already. But also, I just noticed I'm ahead of Ingrid. Hot diggity dog, I'm ahead of her. I don't know if that's going to apply after I've paid my taxes, but yeah, that's sick. But for these guys from, like, you know, Joe Serta down, I can kind of understand, because these guys don't necessarily have that. They have to bring it in and import it. And they can't get a hold of the expensive jewelry to sell in their stores. So they can't compete with the main four because they don't have the ability to import it. So, I mean, they would be looking for a source, and you could be their source. I can see how that would go. But how would you price it? That's the thing. You could price it at whatever you want, and because you don't have any competition. So they got to build some kind of competition. Like, for example, you got to be able to have the AI, not just Zhao and Johnson and friends. The AI has got to be able to open up their own factories too, or have their own factories, and then have a whole, like, there's a wholesale. You're basically competing with the wholesalers by having the same products as them, which I don't think you're going to be able to make profitably. You're not going to be able to compete with that, right? The whole change in things. Like, I can't put all those machines and make hot dogs and profitably sell them for less than Hudson Wholesale does. But I would have to sell them for less than Hudson Wholesale does. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense why the AI is buying from me, right? Unless Hudson Wholesale is out of stock or something. So it's just weird. It's something to talk about, right? It's it's a fascinating thing that could really, I think, yeah, definitely expand the game for sure. I think it would be a really cool addition to the game to be able to sell to, the AI for their own stores, become a wholesaler. But without wholesale volume, it doesn't make sense. And without knowing kind of like what the value of those products are, it doesn't make sense. That's how I feel about it anyway. So I got 440,000. Can only get one more laser cutter by doing that. But I suppose that's okay because, I need to get some other stuff too. I think I can just drive there. Here, I'll take a taxi. I'm freaking wealthy, man. Just take a taxi. Just get it done. Just get there right now. It's the best way to travel. It's a couple $100, but you just click a taxi and you're there. You don't have to dink around with the bridge or anything. Hey, taxi, how are you? Yeah, come on over. I just want to go to the wholesaler. He's on the other side of the bridge. You don't mind taking me over there, do you? The factory supply area. He's open at 10. That's not what I thought you were open in. You know what? It's fine. I just want to go to the park, which makes way more sense to just take the train if I'm going to do that. Gosh, I'm such a cheap ass. All right, fine. If they're not open yet, then I could sleep on a park bench. Yeah, but I could also sleep on a park bench in the park and then take the taxi anyway after I have the park benefits, and the taxi would cost way less because I'm already over there, So I could just do that. That's what I'm going to do. See you guys over there. I'm a millionaire with my own manufacturing factory for jewelry, and I'm about to take the subway. I'm staying humble. That's what it is. I'm staying humble. I also can't speak very well. Apparently, I just need to, I need more zinc in my diet, or vitamin A, or whatever it is that helps your brain. Ginkgo biloba. That's a fun one to say. I need more ginkgo biloba. Okay. I just decided to take the scooter. Sometimes it's just fun to play the game instead of skipping stuff, Okay, let's grab one of these carts. We'll definitely take the, we're definitely going to take the taxi on the way back. So I'm thinking I want, let's see, 2 of these. We're going to get 2, 3. They're too expensive. Let's just hold off on there. So I want to just add, I basically want to double the production speed of my jewelry store right now, and that's my jewelry factory, and that's just by getting one of these laser cutter machines. That's how I would do it, because this is the bottleneck right now, and it produces at half the speed of everything else. So when I do this, we will then be able to make twice as many as we're currently making, and I don't even know if I can sell that many yet, so I think that's okay for now. So we'll go ahead and do this. We bought those things, and then I guess I need to find a taxi now, way out here. It would be interesting. They should add this as a feature, by the way. You should be able to call a cab. Like, I would like a taxi. Okay, we'll be there soon. And then, you just like hear, and all of a sudden a taxi spawns for you to take. Because you should be able to call a cab, Or you could do like a rideshare app thing, like we have for Uber right now. And then add that as a job. Instead of a delivery driver, you could be somebody who takes people around. You could be an Uber driver in Big Ambitions. I'm just saying. Because otherwise, I got to like walk around waiting for cars to spawn and hope that there's a taxi at one of these cars that spawn so that I can click it. And at this point, I didn't find the taxi cab, so I'm going to take that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this. Sucks to be you, taxis. You weren't here fast enough. Now I'm going to go right to my factory. Now I just have to figure out how I'm going to scale this up, because I'm pretty sure I can't move these machines while there's somebody on it. So I'm going to have to like temporarily shut a machine down, or just take somebody off the schedule to move it. And they're not really set up in a way that lets me move them easily, but can't go in there because I'm not a truck. It's my place. Open up. I came through there anyway. The door I'm walking through is over here. Okay, so I think what I want to do, right, is we're going to take the... let's just take our belt, put it there, take this belt, put it there, take this belt, put it there. I'm just going to have all these stuff out, and then we can see them. All right, so the ideal, park this, is to kind of get this scooted back so that it splits the supply and then it all merges onto one here. So I would effectively want to do this. I could just slam it right next to each other, but we'll do that. Now I can't move this because she's on it. So what I'm going to have to do, I guess, is manage the schedule for Josephine Sullivan. Josephine Sullivan, and she'll just be off of this. Now she's gone, I can move this back. Okay, and then what I want to do, I think, is I need to move it back even more. We need to have a splitter. One of these. I need one of these. So let me just see really quick how we're going to do this. So this goes like that. And then this goes... Okay, so we're going to slide this down. Oh, well, there's stuff on it. Oh. For real. Okay, I need to go down like that. And then I can't move this while there's stuff on it. Can I remove content? There it is. I can't do it. It won't let me remove the content. All right, fine. Slam this here. And then this is marked for... the gems, cut gems expensive. There. All right, now I can move this. No, I can't, because it's inside this now. Of course I can't move it. That was the idea, though, is just slide this down and move it. But I might have to just shut everything down in order to really make this happen. All right, it's become very clear to me that I need another solution if I'm going to be scaling up ever. So I'm going to kind of put this in place in a way that allows me to easily scale this. And I know this seems haphazard, but I'm just getting them out of this because I don't like them in the boxes. So we're going to go ahead and put them out there. And then I've got a couple of extra splitters here that I can use as well. So it's another day. I went ahead and had a delivery made. And we're going to start, I think, at the back here with an input station, of course, that kind of does this. And I needed to be able to scale. And it's kind of difficult to do that because the splitters need to be situated in the middle. And that kind of throws it off a little bit. But I sort of wish the splitter was 3 wide instead of 2 wide. But I kind of understand why they did it this way. They're saving space this way, and I like that. But it's just kind of... Well, I can't put 2 machines right next to each other, right? You can't put these laser cutters like right next to each other. Because of this weird, like, I don't know, like don't go anywhere near this display thing. I can't do this, but I can do this. So now I kind of want there to be something else between them. Either way, though, what I'm hoping to do here is to have one input machine, trying to limit the number of employees, right? One input machine that will eventually feed like 10 of these laser cutting machines, okay, eventually. And that's what I'm looking for, is like, how do I set that up with the floor plan? And then here's, of course, the metal rings and stuff. We'll just put this away for a second because that might just end up being in the way. But I do have to keep in, like, be mindful of the fact that I might need, if I have 10 of these things, then I'm going to need 5 of these things. So this has to feed 5 of these eventually, right? So I need to, like, as far as positioning goes, how do I do that? And I think what I'm going to end up doing is having all of the gems are going to come from one direction and all the metal comes from the other direction. I think that's the easiest way to do it. And then the outputs kind of meet in the middle. So that's what I'm going to look for. But right now I need to sort of figure out how I want to set all these up so that I can scale this effectively, and I can just add more of these laser cutting machines. And then every time I add 2 laser cutting machines, I then need to add 1 of the polishers and 1 of the consumer assembly machines, or whatever it's called, consumer goods assembly machine. So I need to add 2 of the 1 of these every time I add 2 more of these. But now I have 2 laser cutting machines, and so the ratio at least will be double. I just want to make sure it looks like it's getting scalable. So I'll be right back. Okay, this looks pretty sloppy for now, but it's going to look better. It'll make sense over time. So I'm going to just put these over here because they're extra. So what we have right now is an input station that splits here into 2, and then it's going to go this way around and splits again here so that it can support 3 machines. In this direction, we support 3 machines. Then what we're going to end up doing this is a temporary thing here because what we'll end up doing first is splitting at the source and doing the exact same thing on the other side right next to it so that we have a row of 6 of these machines. That is going to equalize us to 1 every 10 minutes. We will then balance everything else to 1 every 10 minutes. Therefore, we will have 3 of these and 3 of these. Every time we have 2 of these machines, they get a polishing machine, and then that polished machine feeds directly into a consumer goods assembly machine. Now, for the metal, this is the part where it gets a little bit tricky because I'm going to have to rotate these and stuff. But for the metal, we need the metal to be able to feed into this one, and then another one, and then another one. So maximum of 3. So it's going to have a very similar splitting situation as what happens over here to feed metal into 3 different machines. And that'll just basically involve me moving this back a little bit so that I can go here and then also there and then also there. And then I'm going to be moving the output station too during this process so that it's not in the way. But what we could do is I could just take and commit all of these belts to feeding that. I don't want to use the splitters, but if I wanted to, I guess I could take the output station and just kind of bring it back here so that it's out of the way. And then these inputs, the metal could input a different way. We could have the input maybe, yeah, for now it's fine here and we could split it later, you know? So it's something to think about. I've figured out exactly where this stuff here is going to go, and I'm out of belts to do that at the moment. So for now, I'll just move it back as far as I can move it. And then these are all splitters, right? And these are all splitters. So we'll move it as far back as we can move it. And then we'll go from there. So we have that there, there, and there. Okay, this whole thing is set up. I'm going to slam this into here so it fits. And this is ready to start working again. So we can technically turn this on, and it should begin working. Oh, there's one little error here, isn't there? There sure is an error here. Hang on. We need to borrow some of these. I made a boo-boo. So give me a second here. We want to take you, put you there, you, put you there, you, put you there, there, and then there. Yep. And then I need you to be here. Is that not lined up? It's not lined up. Okay, so this is the other issue, is that there's just, these machines don't often line up, and it's kind of annoying. Do I have to go all the way around to walk that? It looks like I kind of do. So we need to shift these, but only do so like at a half the grid shift, which is very frustrating. So down here, and then shift this, but I can't because it's already got stuff in it. Ugh. It's fine. Eventually it won't have things in it, okay? But everything is just not quite lined up. It's because of this. Again, this stupid thing right here. I really don't like these things because it prevents me from placing them next to each other in a reasonable area anyway, next to each other. I could otherwise, I guess I'd move that up. Yeah. It's probably what I need to do is just move this up, and then they're at least side by side, but then they're, yeah, I think that's what I have to do. Or move this one back. That's probably what I'll do, is move this one back. So I need to wait for all these things to finish. There it goes. It's done. And you know what? I'll just let it go. And then I need to move this out of the way so that it doesn't go into the machine again. So both of these machines are going to eject their payloads. There it goes. And again, this takes half the time that this does, so it will work through both of these before these kick it out again. So I want to move you back, and then everything should, if you're actually level with each other, everything should just work. So move this back to there, and see how they're not lined up correctly. So I'm gonna have to move everything else to get them to line up correctly. Yep. So again, it's just these micro. Yeah, right here. This is where I want to be. Yeah, that's where I want to be. So there. Again, it's not lined up because of this halfway point. So I actually have to move the other one back. Yeah, the other one needs to be moved. So we'll work backwards then. This goes there. This goes here. And then on the other side, there. And then I need this to be right up against this, but I can't do that with the splitters because, again, they go in the center. So the only way to do this is to go wide and then come around, and it looks sloppy. I don't like it. but it's the only thing I can do to make this actually happen that way, or split it again here, and I don't want to do that. So I guess the only way to do it is that. So we'll turn this, and it still won't work. I'm half a tile away. The splitter just can't work this way. It's frustrating. Like you won't transition here. That has to be completely connected. So I have to move this machine in half an increment just to get it to behave. Okay, I'm sure there's a solution to this. I'm just not seeing it right now, just because this split puts them on like alternate grids. Now you might think, well, oh, hold shift, Charlie, you can move it. Well, yes, but also no, because like I'll show you. If I hold shift, it's not like, to get it on the right grid, I have to go a half mark away. I still have to, no matter what I do, place it exactly right, which I might as well just use the grid for. You can't just move it in a small increment like that. So the main problem for this setup is that this split happens and it's halfway. Like this other split is happening. Yeah, it's causing it to go halfway. Maybe I have to have an extra input station for every 2 of these. That'd be or every 4. Yeah, so maybe every 4 of these machines I have to have another one. That would make my life easier. To be honest, that would make things a lot easier. I just don't want to do it because it's extra cost. But basically, you have to split an even number of times. If you think of it this way, right? If you take a look at the grids, you'll see that there's dashed lines in the grid and there's solid lines in the grid, right? And the machines have to always be bordering up against the same type of line. So in this case, let's say you have your machine is bordering up against solid line here, right? And this one's against a solid line. These two are evenly spaced apart, which is great. But the belt system that I have in place here is intending for another machine to go here, which shouldn't be a problem. All right, on this plane, everything is fine. It's this plane where it's a problem. So you'll see you have a belt here that's on the dotted line and a belt here that's on the solid line. And in order for this to work, because the splitters, they essentially, if you think of these as like 2 separate planes of existence, solid lines and dotted lines, and what your machine is sitting on, right? The splitter changes your plane of existence. That's the only way I could say it. Like the splitter takes something that's coming in on the solid lines and places both of the outputs on the dotted lines. So you can't do it the way that is. So the only way I'm going to be able to make this work in this case, in this plane, is to split it is to split it again. I basically have to split it again. So what I'll have to do to get it to work, I kind of reset things so that all the gems and stuff weren't going to be wasted. And what I can make it work. It's going to be a little sloppy. So what we have to do is split it again. I need to transition things from being on the dashed line to being again on the solid lines. It's the only way. So I'm going to take this and move it over that way, and then this way, and then I have to again split it again over here, and that places it on the proper plane of existence for everything to line up. Which again is quite annoying that has to happen, but that's how that has to happen. So we'll go this way and this way, okay? And then this is split here, so it has to come around, and this is going around and split that way. Okay, so you are going to go, just trying to figure out where the heck things are now, because I split it again. So this split here is going that direction, and then it was getting split again, just to make sure that we could have a third machine here. So I need to have this go back to where it was. And this needs to go back here like this. Yes. And you are going to go... no, you're not split in the correct place. Yeah, you are. You have to be split there. So it would be this way here and this way here. Okay. I know, it seems weird. And then this one would then go straight to here because it's going to still be on the same plane. So this next machine that I'll build will be located here. But that also won't work because these stupid signs are in the way. So I actually can't do that anyway. So I'll have to move it around and then up. Yeah. So I need another belt here, then up into the third machine. But it will still work now. It's a little bit weird, but it will work now. It's just a pain in the butt. So we'll take these two away so that we don't accumulate things. We'll plan on this going there, this going there. And I guess we don't need to take it away. We'll just line it up. So we'll say there. Now I can have another machine placed here, and it'll be lined up as long as everything is on the solid white lines. You can't have anything on the dashed lines. And every time you split it, you're changing whether you're on the solid or not. So it's going to go here. And this just means that we will have this spot here will be occupied by gems, even though it's not going anywhere. And it's useless. It'll be occupied by gems because the split has to happen again. You have to split an even number of times because of that. That's basically the summary. You must split an even number of times if you want to make that work. Okay, cool. I figured that out anyway. So we'll go like this and then bring you here. For now, it'll be there. And then we can change it later and shut everything down. We have 3 splitters remaining, which is bad. So I need 4 splitters because I have to do it even number of times. And we can go. So that will take care of that. And you are all ready to rock and roll. Everyone should get what they need. There will be extra here too. And that's okay because there will eventually be a machine here. And then it'll just accept them and go. And then I want a 4th machine. So to have 6, the interesting thing about 6 is that the 3rd machine is going to receive from the belt path going this way. But the 4th machine will be receiving from the belt path that goes this way. And then so essentially each direction is going to feed 2 machines. But there's going to be extra gems there on that side. And there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, good. So I got what I need out of it. Otherwise, I have to have 2 input stations. And I don't want to do that. You know, I basically can only have 4 of these per input station. And I think I can handle more than that. So we're going to see how this works now. So this stuff is going to come out. It's going to then go into this polishing machine. And it'll get polished. The next 2 will start. Yep. So these cutters are going to start now. Should see that, I think. There we go. And these will be done when these finish. Because these are each 60 minutes and this is a 30-minute machine. That makes sense, right? We've all played Satisfactory, Factorio, etc. Same thing, right? That's how you balance that out. Okay, these storage shelves need to go in my truck because I need to put these in my truck. But I have a factory running now, okay? It's a working factory. There you go. Take this little thing here. And these guys will be making twice as many expensive jewelry as they would have been otherwise, as they would have been yesterday. It is now Thursday, and I'm about to get paid, which is great because I can then go buy another laser cutter and have actually 3 working here. But remember that I don't have another polishing machine yet, so it doesn't really matter if I get another laser cutter right now. I need another polishing machine and another consumer goods machine as well. And probably what will end up happening eventually is that these shelves will need to be moved somewhere. And I really wish I could place them here, but I can't. But I'll probably place them over here. This is a good spot for them, actually, because there's no usage for this area anymore. So I can place one over here, for example. And then it'll probably be the same thing on the other side because of how that's going to split. So it'll be like this on the other side as well. There. Okay, so lots and lots of expensive gems. But we're going to have them sold, hopefully. I just need to get logistics set up to do that. So I'm going to get in my truck and we're going to let them go. Let it all work 24/7. It's all scheduled, right? Everybody's in the schedule. Yep, there we go. The only thing missing is I need to put Josephine Sullivan back in that spot. So she's in that spot now. I took her out. I need to put her back. She's got 50 hours a week. Probably could, relieve some people by just, hiring one more person would probably alleviate a lot of the 50-hour work weeks that they have. But, they're happy to, get paid that. I don't think they simulate overtime in the game. They probably should, you know. You should simulate over. Hey, Jonas, you should put overtime in the game. Every hour over 40, at least that's how it is in the United States. Every hour over 40 for hourly workers is time and a half. Yeah. So it promotes us to hire enough people so that that doesn't happen. Yeah. Because right now, 50 hours is a lot of work. And the fact that they're not getting any extra pay for that is kind of nuts, to be honest. So I am a supporter of implementing overtime pay in this game. What say you, chat? What say you? I have golden health insurance there and a meeting table for prior convictions. They want a meeting table. Well, you know, not necessarily going to give you everything you want. That said, though, the polishing machine, how much was that? What was the polishing machine? How much did that cost? Go back over to here. The polishing machine, I know this one's 120. So another laser cutter would be 280, right? So that plus this, that's 400 grand. So is the polishing machine less than $58,000? Survey says, yes. Yes, Charlie, it is substantially more than $58,000. Okay, then we will wait one more day to do that. And then I can have that. And then I can then have functional anyway, 3 cutting machines, working my way to a 4th. But in order to implement the 4th, I have to have the whole, I have to have all the conveyor belts and stuff set up for it too. But that's all in an effort. All those conveyor belts and all that stuff is an effort to maintain only one input station for that, you know, for that production chain, because I don't want to have to change it. Now, I could feasibly, I mean, I guess I could have a second one, but if I got a second input machine, I would want that machine to be for cheap jewelry. Make my own cheap jewelry, right? And that's a little less, I feel like I need the really high margin jewelry to be at max production to justify that expense, right? I can't justify setting up the same machines, the same cost. Everything is exactly the same cost other than the input material. And yet I make 20% of the money on the sale. I can't justify that. Now, if this changes, and I don't know this, so I guess I'll have to, you know, find out myself, I guess. But this changes if the laser cutter takes less time to cut the cheap jewelry. If it's still an hour, then it's not worth it. But if the cheap jewelry is only 5 minutes to cut or something, or 10 minutes to cut, well, that changes the economics of my factory substantially, right? It means I need less machines for the same volume, and it means I can also have much more volume with the same number of machines on the other side. So I can, you know, economies of scale, right? It makes more sense. My fixed costs stay the same, but I'm able to produce more. Therefore, I can make an actual profit as long as I'm producing it with enough volume.